I was sexually harassed, pukul-pukul badan, because I felt disgusting where they touched me gitu loh.
Kamu umur berapa waktu itu?
12, 11. I had my own trauma, such as bullying.
And what made you ready was you went to therapy, right?
16 akhir lah. Itu terakhir I went to therapy. That was like, udah beres gitu loh.
Our parents brought 3 of us to therapist. Mami tanya, jadi gimana my kids gitu kan? And the therapist said, tidak ada anything wrong with your kids, just want everything in common.
It hinders me from living my day-to-day life.
And sexual assault didn't only happen to you once.
Pokoknya digini-giniin aja terus. Tears were already streaming down my face. Sampai even until I lulus middle school loh, mereka masih, the guys, they kept on bringing up the color of the bra that I was wearing and all that.
Tidak harus hebat, tapi harus cerdas. Welcome to Progressive Mindset. I'm Gaby Hartanto, your host, and this is a podcast where people share their stories and perspectives to elevate our mindset.
Ayo, groom your brain. Ayo, groom your beauty. Ayo, groom your behavior. Indonesia. Ayo, grooming. Ayo, groom your brain. Ayo, groom your beauty.
Welcome back to Progressive Mindset. In this episode, I have a very, very special guest. It's my own blood, my little sister, Bella Hartanto.
Hi.
My special guest today is my sister from the same mister.
Hah?
From the same mister dong.
That
Bapak
makes
kita sama.
sense.
Mak kita sama, bapak kita sama.
No one says that. Just
But
saying.
let's just make it, you know, just make it make sense. Okay, guys. So today we want to talk about what do we want to talk about?
I don't know, you're the host.
Okay, it's not a secret, but both of our parents
Sama.
Bella, you and I started working in a very young age. Itu karena kita punya orang tua. Bukan mereka mau kita ikut menafkahi keluarga, tapi mereka punya keinginan anaknya harus punya banyak experience since a very young age. Oke? Nah, kamu ceritain dong gimana kehidupan kamu setelah bekerja dan gain experience. Karena I know our eagerness also comes within, bukan paksaan dari orang tua.
That's true. So I started doing internship since I was 14. That was my first internship. Itu jujur aja first start in dad's company kan. And that made me roll around the different divisions every week. And until I found my passion tuh in digital marketing gitu. I liked it, and then akhirnya when I turned 15 and 16 itu ada libur sekolah dari high school. That 1 month I spent it interning at other people's companies. Terakhir internship itu 16, Cinta Lores Management. That's where I gained my most experience. And then 17, I started working part-time job anymore. Jadi kebetulan waktu itu I got offered a job dari my best friend's sister untuk help with branding and marketing karena she has quite a few companies and dia udah nggak gitu bisa nge-handle lagi. And then she asked me for help. I accepted it. But then I talked to my parents about it. Mereka bilang, ya udah boleh coba minta dulu probation berapa bulan, asal nilainya nggak turun boleh lanjutin. But then like I had a hard time managing my time jadinya, kayak schoolwork and balancing it with pergi meeting atau ada konten deh apa, kan pusing jadinya. Akhirnya I decided to stop working because I'm also leaving for China this year kan. Jadi just enjoy my time, the time I've left here. No, but then you also started it earlier than I did kan. I mean, you've been doing modeling since you were 14 and all.
Yes, I've been jualan. Kamu tahu kan, I jualan dari 5 SD.
Bath and Body Works.
Jadi sebelum Bath and Body Works ada tokonya di sini, aku sudah jualan sampai waktu itu sekolah adain razia because nggak dibolehin jualan di sekolah, dan duitku waktu itu dompetku tebal sekali buat anak kelas 5 SD. Setiap selesai sekolah pasti aku kasih dompet aku ke Pak Pardi. Pak Pardi dari sini, bener nggak Pak? Takut bocor, sorry. Pokoknya setiap selesai sekolah kelas 5 SD, I kasih dompet I ke Pak Pardi, dideposit ke bank. So I already made money since 5th grade. Umur 14 tahun, aku mulai kerja modeling, professional modeling. Dan itu, my motto in life is if you wanna be extraordinary, your routine cannot be ordinary. Jadi, aku bangun jam 6 pagi setiap hari sekolah, masuk sekolah jam 7, selesai sekolah jam 3 sore, jam 3 sampai jam 4 makan, beres-beres, ganti baju olahraga, 4-5 personal training di gym, jam 5 beres-beres, mandi segala macam, 5.30 nyebrang dari gym ke tempat les, jam 5.30 sampai jam 9 les untuk catch up the things that I
Missed
got
in
left
school.
out, missed because I had to misalnya modeling, atau I had to learn and study things a step ahead, so I wouldn't be left out if I had to leave for modeling gitu. And pada saat itu kan you juga tahu mami daddy nggak kasih I modeling kalau nilai I itu nggak A,
Yeah.
ya kan?
If it
Paling-
drops, you stop.
paling rendah itu B, so I worked really really hard supaya aku bisa balance both modeling and school gitu. Yeah, and then I went to college at 16 years old. Okay, so but that all being said, you know it's inevitable for us to grow up and be mature way more than our age, ya kan? For all of us
Yeah.
to know. Jadi kalau buat yang nggak tahu, kita ada sibling satu lagi cowok lagi kuliah di Sydney. Kokonya Bella and adik aku di bawah aku, jadi anak tengah. We experience things a lot faster than we supposed to gitu ya. For example, we subconsciously lebih gampang burn out gitu kan, and you experience that as well.
Yeah.
So can you please tell the audience how did you manage those things, the burning out and the things pokoknya yang mature more than your age?
Honestly, I think I've matured way faster tuh dari kecil. There's multiple instances where I was like, what, 6 or 7, and they're like, oh, you don't sound like you're 6 or 7, you know what I mean? But then,
Dulu we had the joke, kamu umur 6 tapi ngomong kayak orang umur 60.
yeah, so sebenarnya if my parents were out of town, sebenarnya I yang take care of my siblings hitungannya. I beresin kulkas, I beresin the house, and then I take pictures of the food. I bilang, this is Cici punya, this is Koko punya, ntar kalian pulang makan, ini dari mana-mana. Gitu, I beresin semuanya. But then,
I felt like I was taking the eldest daughter duty, but okay. if you
I
give us
mean,
credit. We had our parts left.
my part was cleaning the house, because you're dirty.
So maturing dari young age terlalu early itu ada pros and cons-nya ya.
Yeah, because I matured very early. There were more responsibilities handed to me jadinya, because they think, oh, Bella udah bisa handle apa dan bla bla bla. Akhirnya they put more responsibilities on my plate yang sebenarnya harusnya at that age I belum. Like a lot of people ya, not only family tapi dari friends juga.
Tapi mungkin buat orang-orang yang bingung kenapa anak kecil disuruh beresin makanan segala macam. Nah, apa yang mereka nggak tahu adalah
Diajarin mandiri dari kecil.
mom and dad itu sudah limit mbak di rumah
Iya.
dari kita kecil.
So no, when we were younger, we had like each of us had our own maid. But then when we masuk SD, itu semua udah di cut off. Jadi you have to be able to take care of yourself. Because our parents kan both working parents, they're busy. Jadi we have to learn how to take care of ourselves. And anyways, how I managed my burnout jujur aja, I've been going to therapy since I think my early teen years. Berarti 13, 14 itu I already start. But that was sebenarnya bukan gara-gara I burnt out or anything ya. It was because I felt like I'm going through the phase of life way too quickly. Yang akhirnya I ngerasa kayak, wait, I'm not normal. Kayak I nggak go at this age, I'm not supposed to go through this yet. But then I'm already going through it. Yang akhirnya I ngerasa kayak, kok I ngerasa so lost ya. I feel like I'm having a crisis. Kayak ini, what should I do?
Kalau kamu cerita ke your best friends, they might
Yeah.
not be able to relate because
Yeah,
you
because
were
they don't
raised-
understand.
Yeah.
Beda perspektifnya. So then I saw a therapist yang sebenarnya my parents are very open to ya. They allow us
Why are you
untuk
saying my parents like it's not my parents too?
my bad. Our parents, it happened now. So actually our parents are very open to therapy.
Bukan cuma open to therapy guys, tapi they actually brought us, I don't know if you remember this when you were younger, but our parents brought 3 of us to therapists karena to make sure we're not cuckoo inside.
Dari young age and they
Yeah,
don't know
they're
about.
because,
Yeah.
I mean, they believe in psychology and all that stuff, you know, which I condone, I support. Mami tanya, jadi gimana my kids gitu kan? And the therapist said, tidak ada anything wrong with your kids, just one everything in common. That your kids mature way faster than their age. And my mom's like, oh, that's not a problem. Love that, gitu kan? And that's true. Again, I say, maturing way faster than your age has pros and cons. Yeah, anyway, you were saying, going to therapy?
I initially went to therapy because not because of burnout and everything. That is because I had my own trauma, such as bullying, that really affected me dulu, and also I was sexually harassed, which it hinders me from living my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Seperti pakai baju apa dan lain-lain untuk keluar, because I don't want to show even an inch of skin karena I was that scared.
Before we get there, let's talk about more of the sexual harassment. Yeah, maybe we both, 3 of us know that we have been raised dari kecil, nobody can touch you. If anyone touch you inappropriately, not even your
Relatives.
dad, not even your grandpa, not even your uncles. Cowok-cowok megang inappropriate areas tuh harus lapor. And the three of us raised that way, tapi kok kamu bisa sih pada saat kamu experience those, in the back of your head, you know you are raised harus lapor kalau anything like that happen. It didn't only happen, sexual harassment, sexual assault didn't only happen to you once.
I know.
But multiple times.
Yeah.
So what made you nggak lapor Mami Didi? Padahal kamu udah diajarin loh untuk lapor.
No, so really the first time it happened, I was crying like crazy. Jadi Papa Ri waktu itu nganterin I ke Muay Thai. And then that day, my usual Muay Thai coach wasn't there. He was busy, so I had to do it with the other coach. This other coach was trying to get me to work out again because I was having a rest and I was drinking my water. He tapped my butt. Tapi dari dulu Dad kan selalu ngajarin
Tapi
I.
gimana? Grab.
Pokoknya dia gini-giniin I terus.
Kamu
my butt.
umur berapa waktu itu?
12, 11. Jadi it was already when I was very early in life, ya, maksudnya baru mulai mau jadi teenager nih. And then I started growing, I started hitting puberty kan, I changed gitu loh physically. Jadi I left the place, Papa dia anterin I pulang in the car. I was so pissed and tears were already streaming down my face. Sampai rumah, I didn't know how to break it to Mom. But then at the end I told her, I said, Mom, I think I was like assaulted tadi di Muay Thai. And then she's like, coba explain what happened. And then when I explained to her, she langsung called the owner. Ironically, the owner tegur dong pasti orangnya. But then the next time I went to that place, him and his friends were making fun of me about how I felt assaulted gitu loh. Kayak mereka make jokes about it when they purposely try to make me do cardio and workouts yang bakalan show my butt more to make fun of me.
Tolong ya, bapak-bapak, coach, semua, siapapun itu denger ini. Kalau nggak ngerti paham bahasa Inggris, baca subtitlenya ya. Mungkin intelek kalian tidak nyampe, tapi sekarang di sini kita didik ya. Kalian ditegur sexual assault seseorang, terus kalian bikin lebih parah lagi untuk exercise, untuk mocking, untuk bullying, sinting. Malu kalian harusnya, tahu nggak? Malu sekali.
And with that going on kan, I was also going through bullying at school. I was a very big girl at that age. Kayak I loved eating. Kayak I don't know if you remember, tapi abisin satu loyang pizza sendiri dulu kan. I love eating yang resulted in huge weight gain. I was really fat. That was one of the reasons why I started Muay Thai, untuk self defense first of all, and second of all to lose weight. Tapi yang ada biggest, I felt uncomfortable going back to Muay Thai ever since. I just stopped working out in general. I found something else gitu. And then I started going to therapy because of it. A few years later few years later, because I felt like it was actually disturbing me very much. Kayak, I don't know if you remember, tapi dulu I hated being touched by even you or Mom kan.
That incident that you went through resulted in kalau Bella dulu peluk itu selalu begini, kayak nggak mau dadanya kena ke kita, nggak suka affection jadinya gitu. It really affected her. But my question initially was, kenapa kamu tidak lapor dari awal? You said kamu lapor ke Mami, tapi I didn't know about the next stories, that the next things that happened. I didn't know. Kayak cerita yang kamu di sekolah.
No.
Kamu di sekolah ngintipin.
At school, actually Mom tahu because that was a big deal. They kicked my door down di toilet just to ngintip I lagi ganti baju. It was a group of guys. And then of course it was a big deal. I cried to my teman cewek. She brought me to the counselor. The counselor langsung telepon Mami and telepon their parents. But then yang ironic, I remembered the parents were kind of like, don't give them too harsh of a punishment. They're just kids playing. Tapi
Kids
kayak,
playing, hey parents. If you cannot be parents, don't have kids. Disgusting.
Yeah.
How you justify your kids kicking a girl's door? Kasih lihat ceweknya lagi ganti baju, boleh lihat pakai BH. Kalau kamu punya anak cewek gimana? Jadi orang tua tolong ya, kalau anak salah nggak usah dibela. Orang tua gue aja kalau anaknya salah nggak dibela kok.
even until I was middle school loh, mereka masih, the guys they kept on bringing up the color of the bra that I was wearing and all that. It became like a joke for them gitu. Tapi that itu Mami langsung tahu, Mom and Dad, because of course the school called the parents dong. But then the next incidents, I didn't tell because they didn't really physically touch me. I don't know how to say it ya, tapi this was kind of like a gray area for me back then. I ngerasa that they were taking catcalling me. Jadi aku lagi mau masuk ini lift, the guy chased me from behind, catcalling me, cantik gitu, and then he pulled out his phone, took pictures of me right in front of my eyes. I was like, just don't take pictures gitu.
Ini bukan di sekolah kan?
No.
Ini beda lagi.
Yeah, and I didn't remember. For me it was such a gray area. I nggak tahu kalau itu hitungannya sexual harassment or not. Dan kan maksudnya dulu yang di reinforce, yang bener-bener ditekenin,
Kalau
di-emphasize,
pegang.
itu pegang.
Tapi we cannot blame our parents for it juga karena maybe
Iya.
it's a new form of
Iya.
like, harassment.
As
you know.
technology kan makin
Yeah.
mengembang. Tapi I didn't know that back then until I mulai lihat online about taking pictures without consent, apa itu sebenarnya nggak boleh. I realized, oh, jadi he was actually harassing me in a way gitu loh. And not only that one incident, after that incident, it happened again multiple times after, yang akhirnya I lapor ke satpam karena he was really bothering me. He would wait for me in front of the lobby for me to come home from school just to purposely catcall me dan foto-fotoin I for no reason.
Ini di gedung lain guys ceritanya.
Yeah, so all of those incidents have kayak left a mark on me back then. Jadi I thought that I need to go to therapy, and also mom told me to get help gitu loh, seek a professional.
Yeah. You know that I go to therapy as well,
Yeah.
and it made me realize a lot of things. Yang ke terapi itu bukan orang gila, guys. Jadi the hard thing here to open up, bukan to open up ya, to just have usual conversation with people and saying kayak, hey, I'm in therapy now. Dipikir lu cuckoo, dipikir there's something wrong with you. But for me, going to therapy itu menurut aku kalau bisa orang tua dari kecil sudah sediakan terapis buat anak-anaknya pergi, karena as much as you wanna be your kid's best friend, menurut aku you are still a parent. Your nature is wanting to protect. Your nature is biased sebenarnya in a way. So your kids needs to have another space ngomong unbiased and really just to organize their thoughts, organize what they're going through, so they have this space to explore themselves with all the unbiasedness gitu. That makes sense.
One thing I also realized ya, not a lot of people atau orang tua bisa akomodasiin itu ke anak-anaknya juga. Karena ada di satu video ngelewatin my FYP waktu itu, ada ini toko ngejual fidget anxiety rings. You know what that is kan? Jadi itu kayak cincin di mana kamu bisa fidget with kalau kamu lagi anxious. Ini orang beli di toko itu, terus dia kirim chat ke sellernya, dia bilang, "Kak, ini nama di paketnya boleh diganti gak ya? Aku nggak mau orang tua." Aku bilang kayak, "Kamu overreacting sampai beli-beli cincin kayak gini," gitu loh. And that made me realize, wow, a lot of people look down on mental health punya importance in life. Karena if your mental health is not good, itu bakalan hindarin you from doing daily activity sebenarnya. Jadi there's nothing wrong with getting professional help or wanting to figure out what's wrong with you, because you do need to know what's wrong with you.
Ada yang bilang anxiety, what's that? Kayak parentsnya nggak advance, nggak ngikutin zaman gitu. Maybe the parents have gone through anxiety juga, tapi mereka nggak tahu namanya tuh anxiety gitu. It doesn't make your kid crazy gitu loh. And I hope everyone has the chance to just take care of themselves, not only physically but mentally. Karena kalau di Amerika guys, orang ngomong I'm in therapy, you should go to therapy, itu hal yang biasa. Here's another thing ya, kayak we're a spiritual family gitu. Kayak we believe in God, we believe in Jesus Christ our Savior. Tapi sometimes praying and kayak minta doang tuh nggak cukup. We have to take action gitu loh.
God created therapists for a reason. I mean,
That's
it's to
true.
help you gitu loh.
A result of my family believing in psychology, I took psychology as my minor in university. So yeah, but anyway, how does going to therapy help you?
Yeah, if you can't tell, dulu kan I used to dress up tertutup banget. Kayak I don't even wanna show an inch of my skin. Tapi sekarang I'm open to wearing baju yang bisa terhitung lebih terbuka. Maksudnya I can wear crop tops, tank top, short pants gitu, which I used to hate dulu gitu loh. And then not only that, kayak I bisa lebih affectionate ke my family, bisa meluk, bisa tiba-tiba pegang tangan, atau I just spend time in their room, because I used to lock myself in my room. Kayak aku nggak mau ketemu orang sama sekali karena ngehindarin kontak fisik gitu loh.
Yeah.
Kayak virus gitu.
And it also actually affected your relationships with men.
Yeah, so
Even though you're young guys, she's 17, tapi of course 17-year-olds had crushes and like whatsoever. You've had boyfriends as well. Maksudnya my parents are open ya.
jadi kalau excess ya, I paling bisa kontak fisik sama my recent one. Lebih berani karena maksudnya I finally found the meaning and the feeling of being safe with a guy. Kayak with my exes, tadinya tuh I had a hard time even holding their hands or even peluk gitu ya. Kadang mereka minta dicium di pipi aja tuh kadang I hesitate gitu loh, kayak ragu, kayak aduh gitu, masih ada
Kayak mual gitu.
iya, ada sisa-sisanya gitu. I realized that was because I didn't really feel safe with them, dan juga faktor dari trauma yang dulu.
And these realizations, it doesn't come from your own thinking atau your parents try to elaborate these things with you, tapi it comes from going to therapy.
Yeah.
Right? Karena therapist itu kan sekolah gitu.
They give
loh.
you a new perspective juga.
Iya, selain mereka dengerin kayak best friend, mereka sekolah gitu. Mereka punya ilmunya untuk memahami ini kemana, ini gimana, dan lain-lain.
But yeah, with my most recent ex, at first juga I actually hesitated physical touch, kayak maksudnya pegang tangan gitu, kadang masih kayak gitu. But then a month in, I started craving the physical touch, kayak pengen peluk, I pengen be able dipegang tangannya apa. That's the feeling of comfort yang I never really felt before karena my trauma yang dulu gitu.
I wanna ask you, you've known me your whole life.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen me before and after therapy. Gak selalu gue di terapi gitu.
Yeah.
Kayak ada fasenya kayak gue recently lebih terapi,
Yeah.
sebelumnya kayak nggak usah lah. Before and after therapy, what difference did you see in me?
Iya, dalam segi emotions, you bisa lebih handle it well compared to you yang dulu. Tapi still need some work, kayak nggak?
Okay, so Bella, is there anything else you wanna share with our audience?
Biasain jangan victim blame, that's it.
Kenapa?
Biasain jangan victim blame, that's it. Mau itu people yang going through mental health issues, whatever they're going through, or victim of sexual assault or harassment, biasain educate the pelaku instead of blaming the victim because it wasn't our fault. Just to keep in mind ya, I was actually assaulted pas aku pakai sweater sama celana selutut loh. Jadi it was no reason for people to say kayak, oh pasti baju kebuka apa. Banyak banget yang masih ngomong kayak gitu zaman sekarang. Or ada yang bilang anxiety or depression itu dibuat-buat sendiri apa. It's not how it works. It exists, it's a real thing. Tapi biasain aja, mendingan you educate yourself, learn about it daripada ngomong nggak pakai pikir dulu, blame people gitu.
I agree. So educate the pelaku. Tapi menurut aku setiap orang juga harus tahu ya cara berpakaian tuh ada tempat, ada dress code. Guys, jangan anggap remeh sexual assault or harassment ya. Gue sendiri aja waktu itu pernah di interview sama orang, tamu datang ke tempat gue ya. Terus akhirnya udah selesai interview segala macam, duduk, dia suruh aku duduk di sebelah dia, terus dia giniin aku, sini dong senderan. He wanted to grab me di sini. Itu megang masih pundak doang loh. Tapi I already felt like I was my space was invaded and gue ngerasa jijik, but I felt powerless and restless and kayak I just felt, oh my god, orang-orang yang tahu gue tuh tahu gue paling orang yang bisa stand up for myself. Tapi pada saat itu gue bener-bener I didn't know what to do. Bengong. Sampai makan sore waktu itu bengong, nggak tahu mau ngapain, sampai my mom pulang terus kayak kamu kenapa? Gue baru sadar kayak that's the smallest, kalau gue dibanding Bella nggak ada apa-apanya. Jadi jangan meremehkan sexual assault, and if you need help, not even the victim, buat pelakunya, please go to therapy, okay? I'm really proud of you that now you want to open up to everyone here in public about your sexual assault and harassment. I know that this wasn't something that you were comfortable with back then, and now you can be blessings for others. I remember, tell them about the story where you were asked to share with a fellow victim, to just let her know that she's not alone. Tapi kamu pada saat itu belum siap ya.
Yeah, I was still 15, almost 16 back then. Jadi this victim asked me, jadi ada teachernya yang asked me untuk help her belajar, to not be ashamed about it. But then back then I was mad, yang ada kes my mom main terima-terima aja. But then I was like, Mom, I'm not ready, I can't talk about it, I don't want to help people yet, because I sendiri belum bisa. Because every time I talked about it, all the memories came rushing back. Jadi kayak keinget lagi semuanya, sampai dulu pukul-pukul badan, because I felt disgusting where they touched me gitu loh. Apalagi for people yang went through more than I did.
And what made you ready was you went to therapy, right?
Yeah, so I was actually only ready to talk about it around last year when I turned 16, pokoknya 16 akhir lah. Because itu udah my perspective change. Itu terakhir I went to therapy. That was like udah beres gitu loh. I've already made peace with myself about what happened. I already forgave them for what they did, even though nggak pernah ada apology sebenarnya. It's just something that I had to accept gitu. Jadi in the end, it's something yang you harus bisa accept to be able to move on. Otherwise, you're just stuck in the same place.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Kecerdasan yang kita bisa ambil dari episode hari ini adalah mencari bantuan bukanlah sebuah kelemahan, tetapi sebuah kekuatan. Jangan takut lapor jika Anda dilecehkan. Anda layak untuk sehat bukan hanya secara fisik tapi secara mental. Jika bukan Anda yang melindungi diri sendiri, siapa lagi?